Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Unacademy. Prelims 2026, GS Paper 1 is over. Those of you who have attempted this question paper, don't watch this video. Relax, eat light, relax, attempt CSAT, and after CSAT is over, then you can do the post-mortem of the question paper. Was it difficult? Was it moderate? Was it easy? What could be the cutoff? If you watch this video and somehow you are overconfident, it might boomerang on your CSAT paper. Somehow, if you feel demotivated, what if later you are above the cutoff, but you ruin your CSAT? You have attempted the GS paper 1, don't watch this video, relax. But for those who are attempting next year, or next to next year, or at some point later, this is the video for you. First of all, congratulations to the UPSC. It's a genuinely one of the most credible institutions in this country. A fantastic question paper, which is going to change the way students approach this examination. Some subjects, conceptual questions. Some subjects, factual questions. The addition of new pattern. This is, for the lack of a better word, kudos to UPSC. And in an effort of ensuring transparency in the system, they're going to release the official answer key also, possibly later. But we will discuss all these questions one by one later at 5 o'clock. We will also provide you the source from which these questions were asked and whether these questions were good, bad, ugly, moderate, difficult, easy, and what could be the possible cutoff. More than last year, less than last year, slightly same, that you will have to wait till 5 p.m. But right now, what are we going to talk about? Let's say, starting with polity, lesser number of questions unexpectedly as compared to previous years. Hardly 6-7 questions, but these questions were conceptual. Some of them were factual. And this is what I loved about this question paper. And those who have been taught by me, my students, you can tell me whether you were able to answer those questions or not. We'll one by one look at other subjects. And let's say, starting with geography and environment, Mukesh sir.
So geography overall was a mix of conceptual plus factual, and till last year you had seen a pattern where UPSC was veering towards concepts. There is a departure from that. Now questions from physical geography were lacking, and you had a complete focus on either Indian geography or the factual portions of geography. Now, if you have followed the current affairs, you would be in a better position to answer many of the questions. Environment was completely factual, and that is where overall the chances of committing a mistake is higher in environment. But in geography, I would say Indian geography was the focus. And some of the expected areas, for example, when we talk about the Virinium port, when we talk about the critical minerals, that is the area from where it was very much expected and a question was asked. Even, for example, mapping question like rivers and tributaries, a simpler idea about Indian geography would help you give the answer. And Andaman Nicobar was in news. So UPSC has not directly asked you about the Great Nicobar project, but has asked you about the climatic conditions of Great Nicobar. It has asked you about the Virinium port and its facilities of the deep draft. So an expected kind of a question from Indian geography. But yes, the concepts of physical geography clearly were lacking at this point of time in this paper.
Overall, how many questions in geography and environment put together?
Around 25 to 26, both of them put together. And ideally, a candidate could have attempted out of that around 15 to 16 of them.
Okay, so they have slightly difficult as compared to
last year.
Comparable to the 2023 paper?
I would say more comparable to 2022 and 2021 in terms of the factual nature of it. How because for the past couple of years we had seen that it was veering towards concepts. There's a departure this year.
More maps now?
I would say simpler maps, but randomized.
Strait of Hormuz question will fall in your lap or Chetan sir's lap?
I think both of us have covered it in endless amount of details.
All of us have covered.
All of us have covered Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, so that is where it is expected.
Let's now jump to Abhishek sir. History. The Abhishek sir, you would know, teaches the entire gamut of history, modern, ancient, art and culture, medieval. post-independent as well?
Yes, world history also, sir.
Okay, now tell me.
So, sir, the pattern last year it was easier. This time it is much more difficult. New pattern questions at least 4 to 5. 18 to 20 questions according to how you place them. But one thing is good, we have both extremes. We have very easy questions, for example, as Charadev Maidam, or for example, the question on who are the rulers of the Sangam age. Two questions such as asking what Pleistocene, Yamuna, and some net level questions are there. Basically, these are questions which you will find in UGC net or assistant professor examinations. But out of the 18, sir, I think 10 to 11 are manageable. Even modern India is complicated this time. Modern India has to be much more conceptual, but they have introduced an aspect where they're comparing Eka movement and Bordoli. At the same point of time, they're asking questions on statements made during the colonial period. So one thing is very clear, rote learning will not help you in this examination. You have to use your mind and the statements and what we teach in class, the ethics of it, the understanding of it, so as to apply it in. So in history, giving 3 statement questions and then asking, are these 3 statements indicative of something, is totally new. That has not been seen in any examination till this. Purely UPSC innovation. But what it allows for is now UPSC, you can use logic to come to answers. This was lacking in history. So if 2023 was an examination where they asked random questions, this time they were able to basically ask conceptual questions but through facts. So I'll not say it's an easy paper. History always takes a hit, but this time at least 10 questions are there which you can manage. Other 10 or 8 are purely optional or academic questions which somebody who has history optional or above would be able to answer. Going by the sources, sir, straightforward articles out of JSTOR have been asked. So this paper was made by somebody who is above that UGC net assistant professor level. So difficult anyway, but both extremes are there. So you should get your 20 marks out of history here.
20 marks.
20 marks.
Great. Chetan sir?
Yeah.
International relations, internal security, disaster management put together. Any questions?
Put together around 18 questions this time. We have seen an increase with regard to security questions. Though from last 3 years, security questions have been asked. It was usually around 3. Now they've increased it almost to 5. And a lot of questions are very factual and based on very vague topics. In IR though, there were some easy topics. For example, the members of EU or India-ASEAN connectivity projects. These were pretty easy, straightforward questions. But there are some very challenging, difficult questions, like the question on multilateralism. They have mentioned 5 different conventions, which is very rare to read about and answer those questions. There's a question on UN peacekeeping forces, and it's a match the following type. It's a new format as well, where you have to arrange the correct format, and you should know the specific period during which those peacekeeping missions were deployed. And they have just given the short forms. So unless and until you have really by-hearted those facts, it's very, very hard to crack those questions.
But if it's difficult for one student, it's
it would
difficult
be
for everybody.
For everyone.
So you should not be demoralized or demotivated, disheartened by looking at the question paper, specifically these areas where you were stumped. If it's difficult for you, it's difficult for everybody. Now, the focus has to be on CSAT. Don't ruin that aspect.
Basically, sir, UPSC, I think, has stressed upon the fact that you don't have to attempt all the questions.
All the questions, yeah.
Be very selective about the questions that you attempt.
And that is what we repeat ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Don't enter the examination hall with a preconceived notion that these are the number of questions that I need to attempt. Because then it's like, even before the ball is bowled, you have already decided in your mind that I'm going to sweep this ball. What if it's a full toss? You will be hit on your face, maybe. Shamsar.
Sir.
Even at the peak of anxiety, you're telling your students to revise economy. Now tell me what happened.
Economy, it was a mix of questions, sir. Compared to last year, it was a bit easier because a lot of questions were focused on facts.
So, just to interrupt you, sorry. Last year there were a few numerical questions, for
Yes,
example.
yes.
This time,
No
none of these
calculation-based questions. But we cannot simply say the question paper for questions asked in Indian economy were difficult. These were simple, and if anybody has done even the static portion, they could have solved good number of questions. And as usual in economics, there was a mix of current affairs questions as well.
How many questions in total?
Around 16 questions.
How many were doable? Not from your perspective, from a student's perspective.
In the range of around 8 to 9 questions.
Which makes it difficult then?
No, because the kind of questions which are asked, even if you have revise the static portion, you could have answered them. These were not very, very difficult per se. Anybody who has done the static revision, you could have answered it.
Okay. Hema ma'am, your science and technology.
Firstly, I'm very happy to see the question paper. There are around 15 questions, and 13 questions are directly from what we discussed in the Conquer Prelims program itself. Nearly, I did not actually see in detail, but most of them. So first, it made me very happy. And when it comes to the nature of the questions, it is a perfect blend of factual and conceptual. I mean, if you don't know the facts, you cannot answer, but you also need a rational thinking and logical thinking to answer it. So I rate it as a perfect blend of factual and conceptual. And many questions like Genome India, Deep Ocean Missions, National Quantum Mission, and in space, swarm drones. Okay, these are all the topics which are very familiar to the students who are regularly following my classes. And is it easier or difficult compared to last year? Science particularly is easier compared to last year, but on the whole, the paper is very lengthy. So for the people who have problem with reading, slow readers, probably it can be difficult. So on the whole, the paper is very lengthy, and particularly science is easier than last year. This is what I feel. Thank you.
And those of you who are asking what were the ethics questions doing in this paper, there was a time, I think, if I can recall it correctly, 2012, when a question on Karl Marx was asked, historical materialism, dialectics. So you can't, jam UPSC and restrict it that these are the only topics and questions that you can ask. This was, for me, my understanding, this was a fantastic question paper. Why? Because some of the students would have been stumped. Some who would only look at, let's not talk about it, we can talk about it later because I don't want to demoralize or demotivate you right now. We can discuss it thoroughly after the exam. From my perspective, from polity perspective, I think the questions were fantastic. You were made to think. And your understanding of English language also becomes important when you attempt the question paper now. That's number one. For, let's say, if I can summarize, geography, environment, it was a mix. Difficult as compared to last year, according to Mukesh sir. Why are you laughing?
Pavan is summarizing. Hiding his pain. मुझे आदत है history log आपको आदत है
Okay. When it comes to history, a mixed bag, slightly difficult as compared to last year. When it comes to IR, more number of questions from internal security. You were asked to match the corps commanders.
Yeah.
Right. Science and tech, relatively easier as compared to last year. Economy, but lengthy. I have also received messages from the students. Some of them have attempted 83. Again, I didn't want to share this number because some of you may feel demotivated, and that's not the purpose here. The purpose here is, again, those who have attempted this question paper, please leave this session. This is not meant for you, but this is meant for those who want to understand the kind of questions asked in the examination so that they can prepare for the next attempt. Right? Why are you stopping me?
No, nothing, sir.
What happened?
So we're looking at the comments now. So.
Okay.
So laughter is the
In general, I would suggest that what we can all conclude with this is that if you take a look at the factual questions, they were so factual
Not
that
possible.
it was not possible for you to attempt, and it would not be possible for anyone to attempt.
Not even us.
But when we talk about, let's suppose, some of the areas, I'll take the example of geography. Now, everybody simply takes the name and the location of Western Ghats. This time UPSC has gone behind the concept of it, that it has been created by the normal fault, tectonic activity. Now, if you know the concept of even in Indian geography, you will be able to solve them, but not everyone. So it is a paper which would reward those who carry out deeper study and study of the areas in news and their vicinity, right? For example, if let's suppose I talk about Virinium Port, not only sufficient to know the location, but what it does, the purpose of it. Now, yes, when we talk about the factual questions like the Nobel Peace Prize that we were talking about, the Corps Command headquarters that we were talking about, I don't think any of the student would be aware about it. If anybody is saying that they have solved it, it's a pure tukka or the guesswork that they have done. So don't be disheartened by this, and please understand The trend that UPSC is going for, the lengthier questions, it wants to eliminate those of the non-serious ones. So keep your heads high and the morals higher for the
The
society.
same is true for history also. We have questions which are extremely difficult. You can't answer them. But they have balanced it. Meaning, if you're not able to answer the political leaders of Sangam polities, you're not able to answer Charodaya Maidam, or for example, a question where they have given 4 temples and 3 of them are already in Vesara style area, which is a conceptual understanding which are Nagara style. You need to know the location. So it is a good mix, but it is difficult than last year any day. None of us will disagree with this, that it's a difficult paper. Nobody is saying it's a very easy paper. But what they're trying to do is now they're playing with the way they are asking questions. Rather than 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, now they've gone to a totally different type of. So 100 out of 100 history as it is, you can never get. But at least you get the 5 to 8 questions correct. Move on to subjects such as IR or for example science and tech where you can get the cutoff.
I think the key takeaway here is the number of impossible to answer questions have increased significantly.
Yes.
So if you have strategically answered the easier ones, let's say from geography, economy, science and tech, history, that's where I think you would be able to score well. But the ones who would have taken unnecessary chances and risks, they are at a greater risk.
It's unfair to leave out conceptual questions, but it is the same for everyone, I guess. That is what you are trying to
And
communicate.
UPSC is known for being unpredictable.
Yes.
And
public
they
service.
always check the ego of the student.
Right.
That's the game here, basically.
And current affairs becomes very important. So the newspaper analysis that is conducted, it becomes paramount for everyone. And
Towards the end, there was some individuals who have attempted 90 questions and they are adding only as a disclaimer. Those who have attempted this question paper and are joining us live right now, can you quickly tell us in the comment section whether what we taught was, in a sense, helpful in attempting the question paper?
93 or
93.
many of the topics in Conquer Prelims, I think all of us covered. For example, in the case of environment, Madhav National Park, then Amur Falcons, all of those, that is something which was covered directly. Yeah. So it depends on the questions that you take, and it was a mix. I think all of us have agreed to it that Hima ma'am has covered a lot of them in the current affairs sessions as well. Critical minerals and rare earth elements, I was stressing upon this, and in fact, 3 days prior when we had a special class, I talked about 2 of the areas. One was the Madhav National Park, another was the case of the critical minerals, and it was refreshing for me to see both of them was asked, right? So Brahmaputra River, Satluj River, not Brahmaputra River. So sorry to give the answer right now, but yeah.
Okay, that is it for now. We'll see you again with the detailed analysis of all the 100 questions, including the source mapping, where these questions have come from. We'll see you at 5. Till then, relax, stay calm. You will crack CSAT as well. Thank you for staying with us. All the best.